Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope your day and your week are going very well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. Now, normally, guys, on Friday, which is tomorrow, we would normally do our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay. Unfortunately, though, due to the All-Star break, today is the last day of regular season NBA action until next Wednesday. So no Freaky Friday tomorrow. So what we're going to do today is our normal 5-leg parlay that we would normally do on Friday. We're going to do it a day early today. Normally on a Thursday video, I would just do single bets, but because there's no Freaky Friday tomorrow, we're going to do a 5-leg parlay in today's episode. So ladies and gentlemen, rev your engines. We got a pretty good parlay coming your way today. But first, before we dive into today's parlay, a quick little recap of how we did last night. Jumping on over to GuyBostonSports.com. By the way, guys, if you're looking for results for any one of my videos, all the results for every single picks video I do are posted over on GuyBostonSports.com. Just scroll up over to the sports picks side. Go to my name, Tasso's Picks. It'll take you to all my videos, and all my pick results will be right there. So yeah, it wasn't a great day yesterday. We went 2-3 last night. We did manage to hand out a couple of winning picks with Emmanuel Quickly and Azar Thompson. Both those cashed pretty convincingly. Karl-Anthony Towns, I literally talked about it, about how like don't fade superstars, and my story about how the last time I took his under in points, he had a massive game. Well, he did it again. He had 42 points last night. That was a bad pick. Apologies for that. Wiggins was a close miss, and LeBron James was a close miss as well. 3 points / rebound miss for Wiggins, 1 assist miss for LeBron. But the moral of the story is we did lose yesterday. So our single bet record going into the All-Star break, 134 and 117. Not too bad. The units, I'd like them to be a little bit higher, but unfortunately, we've taken some gambles on some other player props that cost us some units. But still, across parlays and single bets, we are up over 12 units profit in this video series so far this year. So let's keep the good times rolling here. 5-leg parlay, a lot of great value in today's video. And because it is the All-Star break, guys, I want to do a little special giveaway for you all. Comment ASW All-Star Weekend, ASW down below. I'm going to pick one lucky commenter, whether the parlay hits or not, to win a free $25 Amazon gift card. Little giveaway for the All-Star break to show my appreciation for each and every one of you guys. I know it's only $25, which may not seem like a lot, but hey, it could help somebody out. Maybe go towards buying a little gift for you. Valentine's Day tomorrow, obviously, so maybe that goes for a little late Valentine's gift for your significant other. Whatever the case may be, go ahead, comment ASW down below, and make sure to also drop your questions. I mentioned in yesterday's video we're going to be doing a Q&A video on Monday. Got some pretty good questions in yesterday's video, but I need some more here. So go ahead and drop your questions down below. I want to answer as many of your questions as possible. The more questions, the more fun it's going to be. So when you comment ASW, if you want to go ahead and drop your question for Monday's Q&A video, it can be about anything. Sports betting tips, sports questions, pop culture, personal life questions, whatever you want to ask me, whatever you want to throw out there, I'm willing to talk about in the Q&A on Monday. So go ahead and comment that down below as well. Intro's going on long enough. Let's dive into today's parlay. All right, guys, jumping on over to the outlier screen. Our first pick in today's parlay, our first leg of our 5-leg parlay, comes from the Pelicans-Kings game, 8 p.m. tip-off. We're going Domantas Sabonis of the Kings over 29.5 points plus rebounds. Now, for today's parlay, we are using DraftKings, and these are all alternate lines. Some of them are heavier and higher odds than others, but these are all alternate lines, just to let you guys know what we're riding with here. If you can't have them, if they're not available to you, you can always shop around, something close, something similar if you can find. But we are using DraftKings for this parlay, so you should be able to find these lines on DraftKings. Again, as the day goes on, maybe they'll fluctuate, but again, they should all be available over on DraftKings. Now, most of these player props you're going to see in today's parlay, a lot of these guys are playing on the second night of back-to-back. So keep that in mind with a lot of these guys, but it is the All-Star break coming up, so a lot of them will have a week off. But these all being alternate lines, the data is obviously going to be really good on all these player props. Look at the last 10 games for Sabonis. 6 of his last 10, he's cashed the over. That's a 60% hit rate, averaging 31.9 points plus rebounds per game. He played the same Pelicans team just last night, and he did cash the over with 16 points and 15 rebounds last night against New Orleans. If you go ahead and stretch the data out to the entire season view, a 78% hit rate on this over for Sabonis. 40 out of 51 games he's cashed the over, averaging 34.69 points plus rebounds per game overall this year. Like I said, guys, with this being an alternate line, all these player props being alternate lines, you know the data is going to be really solid across the board here. Head-to-head data for Sabonis, also really solid. 6 of his last 9. Pause for applause. Performances against the Pelicans. He's cashed the over, a 67% hit rate across those previous 9 meetings, averaging 34.33 points plus rebounds per game across those previous 9 matchups. He's played New Orleans 3 times this year already, including twice in the last week. He's cashed the over all 3 times and had some pretty big games against the Pelicans this season. He still cashed the over yesterday despite not playing his best. I think he's due for a really solid game here tonight, last game before the All-Star break. The Pelicans overall, bottom 4 in both these key categories here. 27th in points overall, 28th in rebounds overall. You go ahead and narrow it down to just the center position. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. 2 opposing centers, 26th in points allowed, 29th in rebounds allowed. So across the board, really good matchup here for Sabonis. And for our second leg in today's parlay, guys, we're actually going to go ahead and stick with this same Pelicans-Kings game. We're going with DeMar DeRozan here, over 17.5 points. I really do like the matchup here against New Orleans. Again, an alternate line, minus 215 over on DraftKings for this player prop. And like I said, guys, the data is solid. 70% hit rate over his last 10 games, averaging 22.2 points per game over his last 10. You go ahead and stretch the data out to his full season view, a 73% hit rate on this over. 36 out of 49 games he's cashed it, averaging 21.94 points per game overall this year. So again, pretty good numbers for DeRozan. And then looking at the head-to-head data, again, really solid numbers. He's cashed in 4 of his last 5 meetings against the Pelicans. That is an 80% hit rate, averaging 22.4 points per game across the previous 5 meetings. He again played New Orleans just last night. He had 24 points in last night's game against the Pelicans. And DeRozan, since the De'Aaron Fox trade, seems to be the #1 offensive weapon in this Kings offense. Will that change as Zach LaVine gets more comfortable? We will see. But he seemed like the primary scoring option, even ahead of Sabonis in this offense. So I think if you're going with a points player prop, DeRozan is not a bad play. Now, again, it is the second night of a back-to-back, so he did play almost 38 minutes last night. That is something to keep in mind here. But we only need him to score 17 points. He took 17 shots last night, shot 9 for 17, which is not bad, but he could definitely do better. He left some opportunities there on the floor, and he had 24 points last night. All we need him to do is get 18 points tonight to go ahead and cash the over. And the defensive matchup, again, the Pelicans, 27th in points allowed overall this year. If you go ahead and narrow it down to the small forward position, which is where DeRozan plays, they're 22nd in the NBA, giving up 22 points per game to opposing small forwards. So across the board, a really good matchup here for DeRozan. Let's see if he can't cash this 2 nights in a row against a pretty bad Pelicans defense. All right, guys, our third leg in today's parlay comes from the Thunder Timberwolves game, 8:30 p.m. tip-off. We're going Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves here. Over 4.5 rebounds. Again, alternate line, minus 260 over on DraftKings, so a little extra juice on this one. Anthony Edwards has cashed this over in 8 straight games, including 9 of his last 10. That is a 90% hit rate, averaging 5.9 rebounds per game across his last 10 games. You want to go ahead and stretch that data out to the entire season view. It's still really solid, a 77% hit rate on this over of 4.5 rebounds across the entire year. He's gone around and cashed it 41 out of 53 games this year, averaging 5.81 rebounds per game this season. And if all that data didn't convince you, the head-to-head data is also, again, really solid. 4 of his last 5 meetings against the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's cashed the over. That's an 80% hit rate, averaging 5.6 rebounds per game across the previous 5 meetings. He's played OKC 2 times this year already. Actually, 1 time this year. My eyesight betrayed me a little bit there. He's played them 1 time this year back on December 31st, and he had 7 rebounds in that game, but he also had 10 rebound chances. So pretty good. Had a couple more opportunities there, but overall, solid numbers. We only need him to get 5 rebounds in this game. And if we look at the insights provided by Outlier, Anthony Edwards has exceeded 5.5 rebounds. Again, we're taking him at 4.5, but he's exceeded 5.5 rebounds in 9 straight games versus bottom 10 defenses for rebounds allowed, averaging 7.6 rebounds per game across his previous 9 games against bottom 10 rebounding teams in the NBA. Look at the overall view for OKC. They rank 23rd in the NBA in rebounds allowed, giving up 45.4 rebounds per game. If we narrow it down to the shooting guard position, which is where Anthony Edwards plays, they're 17th, so a little bit better than their overall marks. But again, across the board, this is not a very good rebounding team. The head-to-head data, the overall data seems to be pretty solid here for Edwards. And again, we're taking it at 4.5, but you could even rock it at 5.5. It's still not a bad player prop. Just a little safer at the 4.5 line. So that's our third leg of our 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, our fourth leg in today's parlay comes from the Miami Heat Dallas Mavericks game, 8:30 p.m. tip-off. We're going Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat over 24.5 points plus rebounds. This is the highest odd part of the parlay, the most juice, the most, trying to think of the right word to say here. Technically, from an odds perspective, I guess you could say it's the least valuable because it's minus 340. It's the highest line of the player props here, but the data is really sound. He's cashed this in 10 straight games, 100% hit rate, averaging 33 points plus rebounds per game across the last 10 games. Now, this is, again, second night of a back-to-back. Like I mentioned, most of the player props in this parlay, they are playing on the second night of a back-to-back, but I'm worried about it a little bit because Miami's been a little weird this year with their rotations, how Spoelstra's used their bigs, the minutes they're giving and whatnot. It's definitely strange and risky, but I could not avoid this matchup. The data recently, again, it's really good. Even the last 20 games, 70% hit rate. Overall season view, 57% hit rate. But they're playing the Dallas Mavericks in a game where they're missing Daniel Gafford, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, PJ Washington. The Mavericks aren't using any big men. Last night when they played the Warriors, the Mavericks had two small forwards playing the center and power forward spot for them. Two guys who were 6'7". Now, granted, Bam Adebayo is not necessarily a big guy. He's a power forward or even a small forward masquerading as a center. But the Mavericks have two guys who are totally inexperienced, who are very undersized for that position. Kelly Oubre and Bam Adebayo should both have really big performances. Again, the one key risk here is the fact that Adebayo is the second night of a back-to-back. Maybe they rest him a little bit more. Maybe they don't play him the full minutes. There's also some blowout potential. Dallas did beat Golden State last night, but Kyrie Irving, 42 points. You kind of felt like Dallas emptied the tank in that game. This has blowout potential written all over it, especially because Miami lost last night to OKC. So some definite blowout potential here, but I still like Miami overall in this spot here. And Adebayo, if he doesn't, even if he only plays 25 minutes, he should be able to get this line because he's got such a sweet matchup. The Mavericks are decimated by injuries, and they're all down low in their front court. So really tough situation for Dallas. They kind of created it themselves, I guess, with the Luka trade and whatnot. But, yeah, Bam Adebayo should be a really good matchup. Kelly Oubre, again, he's got a good matchup too, but he's a little less consistent as Bam Adebayo, especially lately. Bam Adebayo, the last 10 games, like I showed you guys, really good numbers. I think he's the smarter and safer play. So we're going with him for our fourth leg over 24.5 points plus rebounds. In our fifth and final leg in today's parlay, guys, we're targeting the Clippers-Jazz game, 9 p.m. tip-off. We're going James Harden of the Clippers over 34.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Again, another player who is playing on the second night of back-to-back. Both these teams are playing on back-to-backs. I think pretty much every game tonight the teams are playing on back-to-back. So it is what it is. This one's for minus 215 over on DraftKings. It's just a really good matchup for Harden here. He's cashed in 8 of his last 10 games. It's an 80% hit rate, averaging 37.2 points, rebounds, assists per game over his last 10 games. Even if you want to go ahead and stretch that data out to the entire season view, a 56% hit rate, 28 out of 50 games. He's cashed the over this year, averaging 35.62 points, rebounds, assists per game across the entire season. So again, really good numbers. Even from a head-to-head standpoint, he's cashed it in 4 of his last 6 meetings against the Utah Jazz. That is a 67% hit rate, averaging 33.5 points, rebounds, assists per game across those last 6 matchups against Utah. He's played them 3 times this year already. He's cashed the over in all 3 meetings. Had some pretty big games, including this December 16th game where he had 41 points, 1 rebound, and 6 assists. They just played not too, like 5 days ago, and he did cash the over in a big way, 23 points, 2 rebounds, and 17 assists in that game. And the reality is just Utah, they can't really defend the perimeter. They can't defend guards. Versus point guards, 25th in points, 13th in rebounds, 29th in assists. Versus shooting guards, 28th in points, 28th in rebounds, 27th in assists. So whatever way you want to shake it, it looks like a really good matchup for Harden here. All right, guys, those are all 5 legs in today's parlay. Quick little run through here. We got Bam Adebayo over 24.5 points plus rebounds. Anthony Edwards over 4.5 rebounds. James Harden over 34.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. DeMar DeRozan over 17.5 points. And Domantas Sabonis over 29.5 points plus rebounds. You parlay all 5 of those legs together over on DraftKings, get a parlay of plus 427 odds. So not exactly the plus 500 we normally shoot for on this show, but the value is really good. And then plus 427, we're not too far off. Still really good value, really good odds for this 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, that is it for me today. By the way, shout out to New Era. I don't know if you guys saw this hat. I don't know if I can get closer here. This Red Sox hat here. This is the Valentine's Day edition with the Cupid shooting the, there we go, this side. Cupid shooting the arrow through the B. I'm a big time hat / jersey / sports apparel guy. I literally spend way too much money on sports apparel. But love this hat. Had to show it off, especially because the Red Sox did sign Alex Bregman last night. We're having a pretty good offseason, just to say, for all you baseball fans out there. Watch out for Boston. Red Sox they're coming this year. But yeah, Sean New Era, pretty sick hat here. But I got sidetracked there. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Make sure to comment ASW to potentially win a free $25 Amazon gift card. Again, I'm going to pick one lucky commenter to give that away to. Also, make sure, please drop your questions for Monday's Q&A. If you haven't already, it's going to be a fun time. I might even go live to do it. I haven't decided that part yet, but it's definitely going to come out Monday. I might do it as a live show. I might do it as a pre-recorded thing. That's still being figured out, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Anything, sports betting tips, how to, YouTube, behind-the-scenes YouTube stuff, anything you want to know, sports questions, do you want to debate about something, whatever you want, we're going to talk about it on Monday, so make sure to go ahead and drop your questions. But yeah, guys, this is the last time until, of course, our Q&A on Monday that you're going to see me until next Wednesday when we have our next NBA player prop video. I hope you enjoy your weekend. We're going to definitely enjoy a little bit of time off here at Guy Boston Sports. We will have a couple of videos here and there coming out, but we are going to enjoy a little bit of the break coming off the end of football season and kind of before we get into the mode of baseball season. Going to take the opportunity to have a couple of days off and relax and enjoy some time off. But we're going to miss you guys. We'll be back on Wednesday with some more NBA videos. But until then, hope you're all winners. Enjoy your week. Enjoy All-Star Weekend. Hopefully it's a better game. Hopefully this Adam Silver's new tournament style works out for the best. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Hope you're all winners. Let's go ahead and make some money.